we are on to, and I need to put it up on the screen, but we're on to the LA Clippers, which I have a feeling where we're both going to go with this. They signed Ivica Zubac to a 3-year, $32.8 million extension. He declined, or they declined. I think he had a non-guaranteed, whatever. There was the season that he had left in 2022, 2023, that option was declined as part of the extension. They signed Nicholas Batum to a 2-year, $22.6 million deal. That was not, incidentally, declared they were going to investigate salary cap circumvention like the Sixers and James Harden. They signed Amir Coffey to a 3-year, $11 million deal, fully guaranteed. They signed John Wall to a 2-year, $13.3 million deal. That was the MLE, and includes a team option on the second year. They drafted Musa Diabata at number 43 and signed him to a 2-way contract. They signed Xavier Moon and Moses Brown to Exhibit 10 deals. Notable exits, they waived Jay Scrubb. Isaiah Hartenstein signed with the Knicks. I will note that the Knicks gave Hartenstein more than the Clippers could physically offer. They were limited to their mini MLE. And Rodney Hood remains unsigned. Rodney Hood just floating out there remaining unsigned is like kind of sort of interesting, maybe, perhaps not, after what we've seen in the past few years. Anyway, Grant, what grade do you give the Clippers, and why is it just a flat A?
Well, I wanted to make it an A- because of, I don't know. If I had to choose between Zubac and Hartenstein, I don't know what I'd do. I hate that they lost Hartenstein. We've lauded the Knicks for getting Hartenstein. It's still just a flat A. Because like you said, it was a financial thing, and like Zubac's contract is still like a total bargain to me. And I don't know how badly you need 2 conventional centers. So that's all fine. I just can't go less than an A, because like getting the team option on Wall, there's like, I'm not saying it's likely, but there's a chance that Wall plays like a guy that, he's got 13.3 million total over the 2 years. There's a chance he plays like a guy who should be getting paid twice that this year. Like you don't know that. He might really be that good. It's not likely.
The time he played in Houston, not this past season, obviously, but like after he was first rate, like he wasn't terrible. It
was good enough. Yeah. It was good, and with nothing around him. And now it's just like, look at the transformation of the roster that he's playing with. So, and the best thing is, like, if it goes belly up, if he can't play at all, it's like, oh well, we're off the hook for this next year. We spent $6.5 million or whatever it was. Like, not a big deal. And frankly, like, they don't need him. Like, they're going to be very good without him. So, your guy, Amir Coffey, totally reasonable deal, 3 for 11. Batum may feel a little bit rich, but I think he really matters on this team still. It's an A. I don't know unless like you had to have Hartenstein and you would have cost you all this other stuff to keep him.
But you couldn't. Like, he signed for more than he would have had to take less to stay.
Right.
So unless you're going to tell me he was going to take less and you wanted him over John, this is my only A+ of the offseason, because look, they hit everything. Like, you got Nick Batum back. They just have Amir Coffey was really good last year. I couldn't believe they only got him for $11 million over 3. I was actively angry at basically every other single team in the NBA for allowing that to happen. The Zubac extension for a starting 5. Yeah. That's a number that it's not even, it's okay that you're paying him that, even though he might not close some games. You bump that up like $5 to $8 million a year, and you would still be okay with that. He is a better rim protector than he gets credit for, has real value for what he does on the offensive end for them. I think you could dig them if you wanted to be like, well, the backup big situation is kind of weird. It's Zubac and Moses Brown, and then, is Rocco or Morris there? Primary, like, backup 5? Okay, good.
Yeah,
good.
I'm fine with that. That sounds great.
Because you know what? Reggie Jackson and John Wall, there are flaws with either player, where if John Wall is not John Wall, then you don't have a primary, like, playmaker on this team. Like, you have Kawhi Leonard and Paul George, but you don't have, like, the floor general type pass first guy. But then you get to go point guard list because of all, like, your smaller ball options. And the other thing that's probably just not receiving enough attention to me, and you meant, by the way, the team option for John Wall is a home run for the Clippers. They have not been looped in to the Kevin Durant trade talks at all. There's been they've, like, with the Celtics and Jaylen Brown, whether they let it out, whether the Nets let it out, whether that's completely false. And let's face it, it's not. There has to be a modicum of truth to it. There's been nothing. Paul George is on the table for Kevin Durant. They didn't even get what we just saw from Shams recently. Both the Nuggets and the Pelicans inquired about Kevin Durant. Like, they've just steered clear of all of that. And you can argue, well, there's still the combustibility with the injuries to Powell and Kawhi and Paul George. Like, okay. Like, what do you want them to do about that? They can't physically pay for a magic wand that just rids Kawhi Leonard and Paul George of all these injuries. They had nothing to work with. this offseason aside from talent retention in the mini MLE, and they turned that talent retention into a steal of a deal for Amir Coffey. I would say like market value for Nick Batum, the way he's played over the past 2 seasons, maybe there's some risk there at that number, but the cap is going up. And then just like John Wall with a team option for the mini MLE. This was an A++++. I don't know how they could have had a better offseason. Again, unless you told me Hartenstein said, hey, I'll come back for less than the MLE. But then at that point, I'm like, oh, well, then who are you signing to maybe be? Like the ceiling on John Wall is higher than the ceiling on Hartenstein. So
no doubt.
So that, like, I can't even really fault that. So it's an A+, and it's the only one I gave out this summer.
Yeah, I don't give A+, but this would have been right in. I mean, I don't know whose offseason is just a cleaner like string of wins than this one.
Mr. I don't give out A+. You're one of those. All right. I like to save one, and I try to give one F. I don't think I gave out an F this offseason though.